All right, so when we last left off, we had changed this circuit up here into this circuit here, R1, R2, R3 up here, R4, 5. Then we combined 3, 4, and 5 together, and we ended up with this. We solved this entire circuit, and we know that the voltage, all the totals remain the same. They didn't change. Total's total. So we can carry that right up here. R1 is the same because we never changed it. So that's totals that come up here. And R2 stayed the same, so we're fine there. But R3, 4, and 5, we got to unpack that. All right? So now unpacking it, we can look at our totals. We have 12 volts, 1.64 amps, and 7.3 ohms. So let me ask you, we've got this right here, and I'm going to write it right over here. We had 12 volts, 1.64 amps, and 7.3 ohms. This right here was our total from up there. So it's bringing it up to there. That is going in, and we'll say that makes up our 3, 4, and 5. So what is the one constant in a series circuit that we know? Amps. So this is 1.64 amps at 6 ohms. This is what? 1.64 amps at 1.3 ohms. So what is the voltage drop here of 4, 5? Which is I times R. Did I lose everybody on that one?
2.132.
2.13 volts. That's the voltage drop across 4 or 5. What's my voltage drop across R3? 9.84. All right. So 9.84 plus 2.13 should equal 12. All right. So this right here, that's R3. We're done with R3. We can just bring it right up here and plug that into R3. There's R3 right there. Whoosh. But now we got to fix 4 and 5. We don't have very much information. Well, we don't have the information yet. But right here is the totals. So the total for 4 and 5, we have 2.13 volts, 1.64 amps, and 1.3 ohms. What's the constant with these two right here? Because they're in parallel.
It's 2.13 volts.
Each one is going to drop 2.13 volts, 2.13 volts, and now we just solve for the current, which is
0.53 amps.
how much?
0.53 amps.
Right here, 0.53 amps, and over here it's
1.07 amps.
1.07. 1.07 plus 0.53 should equal 1.64. We've actually completed the whole circuit. Again, the key to this is keeping it neater than what I have done here.
I got lost. With the breaking down 4 and 5, but I was still doing 6. How did you get the power supply?
Right here?
Yeah, that one.
Well, that was a long time ago. We have to come all the way down to here, and we got this.
Yeah.
Because it's just a parallel circuit, not a solved parallel circuit, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up with 12 volts, 1.64 amps, and 7.3 ohms. Everybody follow?
Yes.
Okay. Now we split this up into these two right here. So I just brought it up to right here. This is this right here. I just drew it right there. So I have 12 volts, 1.64 amps, and 2.3 ohms on a series circuit. What stays the same? Amperage stays the same, so I just draw in the amperage. I knew it was 1.3 ohms, and I knew it was 6 ohms already, so I just put in the amps, 1.64, 1.64. Do Ohm's law, and I get 2.13 volts and 9.84 volts, right? With me so far? I say, when you go quiet and do this, I'm going to assume no.
Yeah. Okay. It's because it's like I'm trying to keep it neat, but my paper is horrible.
Well, I told you.
So I'm confused. I'm getting confused.
I know, but somehow you're going to have to balance listening to what I'm doing and watching what I'm doing and writing stuff down. This is clearly not something that you can tune me out for a few minutes while you do your thing, and then come back and go, okay, I'm ready. It's just gotta. And if you want to do that, that's fine. Just hold up your hand. So Kevin, you got to stop. You just got to just shut up. Just like give me a minute, and I'll do that. Yes.
I am actually lost now. When you have that power supply.
I can't hear him.
When you're doing 4 and 5.
4 and 5 down here.
No, up top.
Here?
Yeah, the 2.13 volts and the 9.84 volts.
Yeah.
Then you're using Ohm's law, but how?
E equals I times R. E divided. So right down here. You with me? You're with me right here.
Yep.
So this right here, 12, 1.64, and 7.3. Brought it up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the total feeding into this. So what is constant through a series circuit? Amps. 1.3 is a given, right? Ohms.
Okay, yeah.
And 6 ohms is a given, right?
I'm on.
Got it?
Yep.
So if I know those two things, because we worked it going this way, then we have to work it back that way. You only get so much information this way, then you get so much rest of it going back up. You got to go both ways. Anybody else that can help out? All right. Clearly I need to do another one. Do I have a... Who came at me with?
It was the big one.
Yeah.
It was the one from the package that you gave us.
If I did that, I think I'd have a few people shoot themselves.
Shit or shoot?
Probably 50-50.
Yeah, looking at, I was just trying to figure out how am I supposed to break this down?
Oh man. Let me see. So I kind of cleaned out my binder. And let me see if the other one has it.
Oh no.
Nicholas, I bought the Mercedes dealership repair manual. It's 15,000 pages, and literally for the starter, it says unhook battery, remove catalytic converter, remove nothing in there. It literally just says remove catalytic converter, remove. That's all. That's all it says. It's like ridiculous. Yeah.
20 hours ago.
Apparently, $2,200.
So like on my 944, they use the exhaust wraps under the motor.
Yeah.
To do the oil pan, so old style oil pan, really thick rubber gasket with metal sleeves in there to stop it from being like crushed. To do the oil pan rubber.
I don't have anything made up, pre-made, but it doesn't matter. We can just work this through again. So, all right.
Practice makes perfect.
What do you want? One like we just did, where it's more parallel, or one that's more series? They don't care.
Both.
Well.
All right. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 right there. So totals. Why is it doing that? Totals. And we need some, I'll keep it black. Some resistance. What do you got? Give me some, how much volts?
64.
64.
64 volts, okay? Resistance.
20.
20 ohms. Maybe faster.
65.
65 ohms.
122.
Getting too big. 10. It's easier if we just use small numbers. Get the concept down. 6 and 4. So I shall stop and let everybody draw that. When Adam is done, he'll let me know. Good? Everybody's got it drawn? Ready for our next step? When we are how many drawings do we need? More. 1, 2, 3, how many? One more. That's all we need. And what's it going to look like? Series. How many elements?
4.
4 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, basically. So we're going to have R1, R2, R3, 4, and R5. So, yes.
So if it was a parallel, you would need 3 drawings.
Well, depends on how I drew it parallel. I can't just randomly make this parallel.
But a parallel needs more than 1 drawing.
Maybe not. Depends on how it looks. We'll do one next. All right, so R1 is just R1, right? Nothing different about it. R2 is just R2, nothing different about it. R3 is obviously combine 3 and 4, and R5 is right there. So let's see. So we fill in what we know. This is 20 ohms. This is 65 ohms. What is R3 for? How many ohms is that? 3.75 is what I hear. Why is it 3.75?
You take the inverse and
The inverse. It's the resistor inverse law there for Kirchhoff. And R5 is just 4 ohms. So what is my total ohmage? 98.75. And that's total. That's not going to change. We're done. It is absolutely the total. So what is my current?
0.648 amps.
0.648 amps. I will stop there. Make sure everybody's on board. And I will tell you, as far as I know, if you can do that, you will pass the FAA exams. Yes.
I'm coming up with 92.75.
Yeah, for total
So
ohms.
somebody lied to me
Yeah.
for the amperage.
Yeah.
Um,
Or no, total resistance. Total.
Well, that's going to change everything then. So I didn't verify. I trusted it, didn't verify. What is total resistance?
92.75 ohms.
92.75 ohms, and that makes our current 0.69 amps. Does anybody disagree? Guess I gotta stop being lazy. See, 20 plus 65 plus 3.75 plus 4 equals 92.75. 6 divided by second answer equals
64 divided by 92.75.
yeah. EIR. E divided by R, 64. What did I say?
You said 6 divided by second answer.
64 divided by 92.75 equals 69.69. Okay. Everybody with me so far? Okay. So now we change color. So and as I said a second ago, if you can do that, you will pass the FA test. You won't pass mine. Just pass the FA test. I don't know how I'm going to get there. All right, now I'm going to change it to green because we're kind of working our way back up. So we've done all we can going down or across, if you will. We've solved that, and now we can start putting numbers back in. Well, what is right here for my current flow? 0.69. That's too fat. Okay, 0.69. And now we can fill in our voltage drop too. So 20 times 0.69. 13.8. 13.8 volts. And that's amps. All right, coming around over here. How much current do we have? 0.69 amps. Well, we could even do it over here if we wanted to. Maybe it's better if we do it here. And we can transfer over 0.69 amps, 0.69 amps, 0.69 amps, and 0.69 amps because it is, in fact, in series. Okay, now we can solve for our voltages. We already did this one. 13.8 volts. What's my voltage here? 44.85 volts. Hope he's not lying to me. Voltage here? 2.59 volts. Everybody agree so far? And lastly, we have what? 2.76 volts. All right. So we have finished one. Just write it over here. We have finished two. We just write it over here. Well, almost done. 44.85. There we go. Finished two. And we have finished 5. Everybody agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're left with this one right here, 3, 4. We got to split it back out. So this is going to go into here. So if my power supply is giving me 2.59 volts into a parallel circuit with 2 resistors, the voltage drop across each resistor is
2.59.
2.59 volts.
I'm worried. 2.59 volts. 2.59 volts. Everybody see where I got 2.59 volts?
Yes, sir.
If you don't, give me one of these or something. I should hand out hankies. You just get a tissue. Just wipe your eye if you don't. All right. So if I know the voltage and I know the resistance, then maybe I never mentioned the guy. Ohm. I can figure out what the current flow is here. What is my current flow for R3?
0.258.
What is it? 0.259, right? Amps. And over here it is 0.432 amps. Now, 0.432 plus 0.259 should equal 0.69. And I'm done. So, analyzing it. We start off with a voltage supply of 64 volts at 0.69 amps at 92.75 ohms. We come around. Right here we have 0.69 amps, 0.69 amps through here. Over here, 0.69 amps. Splits, comes back, and I have 0.69 amps. So that amperage is going to act like it should with the series circuit where it should be and a parallel where it should be and come back around for a full 69. Then we look at, we have 64 volts. We're going to drop 13.8. Then we're going to drop 44.85. Then we're going to drop 2.59 across 2 resistors plus 2.76. So 2.76 plus 2.59 plus 44 plus 13 equals 64. All right, everybody's happy, wonderful, can do this. Okay, what was
Any recommendations on that series parallel?
let's
So in
just
the
do
sense of,
another one.
like I did the 2 sets of parallel circuits in there. It probably made it harder for myself.
Let me, do you have a copy of it with you? No, it's something he drew. Okay, hold that one up. That one took me 8 pages to do.
calculate everything.
So what if we do it in 7?
Teach the class.
I might be able to find a sticker in my office with a little happy face on it for you. Okay. Just so you know that I'm not mean, I'm just copying a student's work right now.
I was just mainly asking like what you recommend in that sense.
Don't do this.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, I can't use your.
Numbers, yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
All right, let's see. EIR, we'll call this R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Did I do it correctly?
Looks good.
EIR, EINR, put EIR there, EINR there, and EIR there. Okay. If we wanted to, we could redraw it so it looks a little different, but I think we can work with this. Let's see, we will do 12 volts. Give me some resistance.
7 ohms.
7 ohms. What do you want? 10 ohms. Here. Oops, that's a 2. 15 ohms. 20 ohms and 25 ohms. Everybody with me so far? If I redraw this circuit, what is it going to look like?
In series,
How many elements?
3.
It's a 3-element circuit. So we can kind of just work it. I'm not worried about doing this. Right here, we'll just take this and put it right here. We'll put this one over here. So we'll combine these two right here. We have 10 ohms and 15. Which is how many ohms? 10 and 15. 10 plus 15.
25.
What?
25.
It is not 25.
6.
They're in parallel. So 6 ohms. 10. X minus 1 plus 12. 15 x minus 1 equals. X minus 1 is 6. We have 20 and 25. 20 x minus 1 plus 25 x minus 1 equals. 11.1. Okay. Yeah, let's come down here now. Maybe we'll just do it this way. My total, EIR1, EIR2, 3, EIR4, and 5. All right, so remind me what we got here. We got 7, 6, and 11. 7 ohms, 6 ohms, 11 ohms, 11.1. Everybody know where I got all these numbers from? Everybody got drawn up here? What is my total resistance?
24.1 ohms.
24.1? Is that what you said? All right, so we got 24.1 ohms, and I said we had 12 volts from before. What's next? Amperage. What's my amps? 0.49 amps. And then because it's a series circuit, 0.49 amps, 0.49 amps, 0.49 amps. and solve using Ohm's law for the voltage drop across each one. Anybody have a voltage drop for one yet?
3.43.
3.43 volts. Voltage drop for two. 2.94 volts and 5.439 volts. Yeah? All right, so we just come back up here. I've got 12.49 and 24. 12.49 and 24.1. Right? Because the total right here is the total up here. Total's total. R1, is it the same or different? Same, so 3.43, 3.43, and the current is 0.49. We do that, 0.49 amps. Now, feeding into 2 and 3, we have 2.49 volts, 0.49 amps, and 6 ohms. What can I fill out here? Volts. What is my voltage? Is it 3.43, which is coming out of R1? It is not. It is that drops off to 12. So what is it again? 2.94. 2.94. Why? Everybody see where I got 2.94 volts? It was from right down here. Voltage drop across through 2 and 3 is 2.94. So we're going to use Ohm's law now to finish off for the current flow. And down here, well, I'll just do it. Current to cross 2. 0.294. And current right here. 0.196. Then we're going to look at 4, 5, 4, 5. What am I going to carry up? Voltage, we'll say 5.44. 5.44, 5.44. Volts and volts. And we just finish it off with Ohm's law. Current flow here, 0.278. 2.7.
0.27.
This is what I had. Killing me. 0.27 and current here. 0.22 amps. All right, so looking at this, does it make sense? Leaving the battery, we have 0.49 amps and 12 volts. We come up right here, and right through here, we should have how many amps? 0.49. It comes over here and splits. That 0.49 should split into 2, and it does. It comes back together to 0.49. Come here, 0.27, and 0.22 is 0.49. So current splits, and it's fine. Voltage drops. 3.43 plus 2.94 plus 5.4 should equal 12. Let's do this one. What is power total? Okay, we have 5.88 watts here. How many watts do we have here? 1.68. And here we have 2.94 times 0.294. 0.86. We'll go 0.58 on that. 0.58 watts down here. 1.47 and 5.44 times 0.22 equals 1 point, we'll say 1.2. And if we add all that together, 1.6, and we did a lot of I did a lot of rounding in here. 1.68 plus 0.86 plus 0.58 plus 1.47 plus 1.2 is, what'd you guys come up with? If you add all those up around there. It's important. 1.68 plus 0.86 plus 0.58 plus 1.47 plus 1.2 equals 5.79 watts, which is pretty much 5.8 if we round up, because I did a lot of rounding in here.
Pretty much 5.8.
So does that match that one reasonably close? And how do we do the watts? Anything special? We just add them all up. Well, how can we just add them all up? I mean, we can't, there's nothing else on here we can add up, is there?
Watts going somewhere else.
It's the total power consumption of the circuit.
Total power consumption of the circuit. Each one is a power consumption, and you just simply add it up.
Pretty much just like heat.
Exactly. Okay. Well, let's see here. Sounds like you guys got this down. I want this, let me see. This one. That one, all right.
Oh yeah.
It is a practice problem. I've done it in class before. I can't do it on the video really because I have to stay like right here. It takes like all of the boards to do it neatly. Because you want to be able to see one versus the next versus the next.
So, I'm wondering, just in terms of breaking it down into like a more compact schematic to work with, would it be possible to bring R5 and R4 together like we would in a parallel circuit, or does that not work?
All right, just looking at it before I decide if we're going to work it or not. What are the first two resistors that we're going to combine on this? R3 and R2. They are in parallel. So we're going to do the parallel. Then we're going to combine
R3, 2, and R4.
Yep. 2, 3 will combine with 4, and they together make up something that is in series. Then we'll take that mess and combine it with R5, which is in parallel. Then we'll take that mess and combine it with R7, which is in series. Now we'll take that whole mess and combine it with R6, which is in parallel. Now we're done. So R1 can just be R1. It doesn't have to combine with anything. We can have R1 and then R everything else.
Oh, one big happy family. Why not?
And then solve for that. Well, let's see if we can just, given that, hang on, I forgot I can do this.
I'm not writing all that.
Could we compute at least, because this is not terrible, the total resistance and current flow?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so starting out, the first thing we're going to combine is R3 and R2. And since 3 is 5 and 2 is 25, what is R32?
It's 4.2.
4.17? Yeah, this just doesn't work out well if I can't, like, draw it all out. So, let's see. There's 1, 6, 5, 7, 4. Oops, we can just leave it here. This is 3, 2. This is 4, 5, 7, 6, and 1. Yep. Okay, what is the resistance for 3, 2 now?
4.17.
4.17?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to combine it with
R4, so you'd add 12.
R4, which is 12. So just add those two together. Well, then we'll come back. Now we got to come back over here. So we got 1, 6, 5, 7. 1, 6, 5, 7. And then
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. And since 4 happens to be 12 ohms, 2, 3, 4 is
16.17.
16.17 ohms. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Okay, now what are we going to combine it with?
Resistor 5.
Combine it with 5.
Combine it with 5. So 5 is how many ohms here? 1K. 1K. So we got to redraw it. So we have 1, 6, so 1, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. And what is 2, 3, 4, 5?
15.91.
So I'm combining a 1,000 ohm resistor and a 16 ohm resistor, and I get 15?
15.91 ohms.
How'd you get that?
I took the total of 16.17 inverse plus 1,000 ohms inverse equals point whatever inverse the answer and got 15.91.
All right,
I'm
so
comfortable with that
15.91 ohms.
That's gotta be because it's less than 16.
That's exactly it. Combined with R7, which is
In series.
in series at 8 ohms, so that means 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 is,
23.91.
so it's 1, 6, and everything else. So now I have 1, 6, and everything else is in
And one big
Parallel
R1, R6,
R everything.
and then R everything else. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Okay, it's 15.91 ohms in series with 8, so it is 23.91 ohms in parallel with,
R6.
Which is 50 ohms.
this is 50 ohms. So it's in parallel, so I'm going to draw it over here. So I have R1 and R everything else.
That's 16.18 ohms.
16.18 ohms in series with R1, which is 10 ohms. So my total resistance is
26.18.
26.18. 26.18. 26.18.
Half the lead resistance.
I lost the first page that I did. So I don't know. Hang on. So what is my current flow?
0.458 amps.
0.458 amps. Let me see if I... I don't have the answer somewhere.
entire thing?
Or at least the total. I move stuff around.
I was gonna say, like, you had the total, like, for every, like, resistors, like, amperage and
I think so. I'll have to find a different time. But I'm pretty sure that's right. So now that's not difficult, I don't think. The difficult part now becomes going the other way. And more than anything, it's simply because it's messy.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and
It's
forth.
just really messy doing it. Let's see. Yeah, I'll find the answer for you at some point. Let me see.
I have the answers. We need the answers.
You have them? I put them somewhere, didn't I?
I printed it out.
They're in Canvas, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So we right? We are correct. 26.18, 26.17, and 0.459, 0.458. So yeah, we did it.
Perfect enough.
Good enough for government work.
Looks good for my couch.
All right. Well, now I've got a weird problem. In that, because we did so much of this in 309, and I basically just reviewed it, I'm kind of done for the week.
Oh no.
Well, what day is it?
That means we have to.
Tuesday. And just do labs 6 hours a day for the whole
All right, I think tomorrow what we can do is we can go over some of the Q&A problems. Make sure that everybody understands the Q&A stuff. Take advantage of that situation.